All right, welcome back to AI for Real Estate. Today we are finally adding this module to the classroom. We're building an AI chatbot that you can put on your website that will help with lead generation. You can have it ask some qualifying questions, gather data from people coming into your website, and then send it all to you. So the platform we're using is called Chatbase. So chatbase.co is the website, and I'll link that below this video. You can see the pricing gets kind of expensive, but lucky for us, they've got a free tier that gives us one AI agent, and that's all we need. So set up an account with the free tier, come to your dashboard, and that will log you in here. So in the Agents tab, you can see I've already got a couple set up. So I'm going to build a new one. So when we're creating a new agent, this is basically where you feed it all the data you want to train it on. So if you have PDF documents, Word documents, whatever else, you can upload those here, and it'll train it on all the information in those documents. If you've got a website, you can let it crawl the website. So for example, I've got, just a templated real estate website that people can come search on, and this really doesn't have any useful information on it. It's mostly like an IDX feed website, so people just search property addresses. So there's nothing useful on there. Something else is you could look up your company. So for me, that's Equity Real Estate. And I could plug in this URL. And then what it does is it opens up every link on the site. So it would open up each of these individual pages, go to the blog, go to the contact page, and it would get all of the information off every page and have that as part of the training data. So depending on what questions are asked, it'll have that information to draw on. So totally up to you. If you have a website that's useful to train it on, paste it in here and click fetch links. So this is something that you may want to spend more time in as you read through the responses and what questions people are actually asking. Then you can say, if someone asks this specific question, can I buy a home in Salt Lake City? Then if you have a specific response you want for that, you could put that answer here. And so that's just if you really want to kind of micromanage the outputs. Otherwise, you can just let it be an AI chatbot, right? So let me grab this. So this is just some sample text. You can copy something like this. It says, I'm a real estate agent based in Ogden, Utah. I focus on serving buyers and sellers in Weber and Davis counties. My specialty is first-time home buyers. Here's my contact info. Here's my company, right? So once you've got all the info you want in these tabs, we'll click Create Agent. If you've plugged in a website, it'll probably take a minute or a couple minutes to train. But now that is ready. So Playground, you can just send messages and say hello. And you can see there's a lot of customization we'll want to do right off the bat. So let's go to Settings. We've got the general, and its name is I am a real estate agent. I'm going to change that to Emmy for mine. Credit limit, you can set a usage limit. So if someone's just sitting there chatting with your chatbot all day, it's not going to use 1 million credits. That's more of an issue if you're on a paid plan and you're paying for a specific amount of credits. Otherwise, on a free count, you should be fine to leave that off. It will just stop talking to people if they go on with it too far. Okay, so we'll save that name. And then let's start here in the AI tab. So it's got the role and constraints built in by default. So I'm going to tweak this a little bit. So right here it says you're an AI chatbot who helps users with their inquiries, issues, and requests. So I'm going to delete that and say you're Emmy, a chatbot assistant for Jake Lee. Jake's a real estate agent, and you'll be interacting with potential leads on Jake's website. When appropriate, direct them to call or text Jake. So customize that however you like. This is, the back-end instructions of how you want it to behave. The temperature down here, this is, I think the best way to describe this is the personality of the chatbot. So if you crank the temperature way up, it's got a lot more personality. It gets more creative with its responses. But there's a lot more potential for mistakes when you turn this up. So I personally leave it all the way at 0. I'm totally fine with that. So I'll click save. And if you want, you can crank that up and test it in the playground and see how it goes. The chat interface, we can do a lot of customization here. So some suggested messages. We can do something like this, and then it shows suggested messages down here. Placeholder, I'll just say hello. All right, theme. I prefer the dark theme. You can do whatever you like there. Display name. Okay, we've got it as Emmy. You can change it to whatever you want, but I'm going to leave that as Emmy. Okay, if you want, you can upload a profile picture. So I actually just had ChatGPT make this one for me. That looks centered. We'll attach that. Even if it's clearly an AI, for some people, or for some reason, people connect with it better when there's a profile picture. And then the chat icon. So this little bubble is what's going to show up on the bottom corner of your website. So if you want to customize that, you can upload a custom icon. Otherwise, it'll just show up as that sparkling chat bubble. The user message color, so we can customize this to really whatever color you like. I'm going to stick with blue. Sure, that looks good. Okay. And then you can customize this initial message. I'm going to leave that. Click save. All right, that is updated. Okay, webhooks. This is a cool feature. I'm not going to do anything with it now, but if you've been following some of our Make.com tutorials, you can set up a webhook in Make. So you can say when something specific happens. So like if a new lead is submitted from the chatbot, we can set up a webhook here from Make. So if we do webhook, custom webhook, we can create a new one. So new lead website chatbot. And then it gives us this URL that we can put in here. So then anytime a lead is sent, we can trigger whatever we want in here. So we can have it send us an email and say, hey, you got a new lead from your chatbot or your website chatbot. We can set it up to send out a Slack message to, if you've got a team. I mean, if you're familiar with Make, you can do anything once you have the trigger set up. So if you've been following along with some other tutorials, this is a cool option. Otherwise, totally ignore this. Don't worry about it. And let's jump back to here. So leads, let's set up a lead capture. So we'll take name, email, phone number, and then I would customize this to be your name. So let's say how can, let's say Jake know how to get in touch. Sure. Okay. So we'll save that. So then we can take name, email, phone number, and then actions. So we can create custom actions. So again, if you want to play with webhooks, you can say, search this database, and we can set it up so when it recognizes that someone is trying to search, it will trigger that webhook and send stuff back. That's beyond the scope of this. So we're going to keep this really basic. You can also set it up to do a web search. So it can answer questions, basically do a Google search and return the results. But again, we're just going to set this to collect leads. And we'll save this. All right. Thank you. Jake will connect with you soon. All right, we'll save. All right. If I can spell dismissed form. Okay. Save this and the fields. Email, name, phone, and we can make these required if you want. So at the very least, we'll say name and phone number are required. Email, we can leave that optional. We'll click save. If I can move my big head out of the way. Then we'll click enable up here in the top right, and that is now live. So let's go to the playground. Let's play around with this. What's the value of my home? Awesome. And so then it says, reach out to Jake for a detailed evaluation. He'll be happy to assist. Let's see, have Jake call me. And then it gives them the lead capture form. So then we would say, John at fakemail.net and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then we'll submit that form. Don't want to save that. Okay, cool. And then anyways, so it doesn't have a ton of capabilities, meaning it's not going to go out and search the MLS. It doesn't have IDX access. It's not going to, provide listings or book showings. But what it can do is answer basic questions and point people back to you as a contact. And then depending on what questions they ask, it can do lead capture, which is a huge deal, instead of just having people visit your website and then you'll never talk to them again. So let's see. Activity. So we can come here and we've got your chat logs. So every time someone has a conversation through this chat bubble, it will record all of the chat logs. So you can jump in here and literally read through people's conversation. You can see its confidence in each response. So a lot of the time, if it has low confidence, so anything over like 0.5, 0.55, I guess, is pretty good. Anything under that where it's not confident in the answer, you might want to come back to the settings and let's see, where were we customizing that? Okay, not the settings, it's in the sources tab. So if you come to the sources, go to the Q&A, you can add specific questions and answers based on the activity, or you can just revise the answer. So when the user's message is this, here's what the expected response should be. And then it will save those, and you can totally tailor the responses of what you want it to say. And then lead section, this is where you'll see all of the leads you've got. You can set up date filters. You can export those to whatever CRM you use, or instead of manually exporting these and adding them to your CRM, you can come to the settings tab, drop down to webhooks, and if you're familiar with make.com, you can just check this, say when a lead is submitted, send the request to this webhook, and you can set it up so it automatically syncs that to your CRM, adds whatever tags. You can add it as a lead source so you know that the lead came from your website chatbot, or you can do whatever other custom things you want to do with make.com. So last thing is actually setting it up on your website. So once you've gone through the settings, we've tweaked all these, you've tested it out on the playground, you've gone through the activity, revised any answers. Once you've got it production ready and you want to post it, come up here to connect. We'll click make public. And then this script is what you're going to want to copy. So we'll just click this copy button on the right, and then you will add it to your website. So let me jump over here, move my big head again, sites. So this will be my website. And this works on any site that you have access to add custom code, which nearly every website builder lets you either access the code directly or add a custom code block. So, excuse me, let me show you what that looks like. We'll jump in here to edit. Okay, and then I'm just going to come down here. We'll add an element, custom code. I'm going to drop this here. I'll delete this one. Okay, and then open the code editor. And remember, we copied this. And then we will just paste that right in here. We'll click save. Save this. Give it a minute to load. Okay, and then we'll view it. Okay, so now you see we've got the chat bubble here, and after 3 seconds it gives us that pop-up. So you can see if we come back to the settings, see the AI, where did we have this set up? Okay, so settings and the chat interface is where you can set this. So show initial pop-up messages after 3 seconds. So you can set it to -1 and it won't do the pop-up at all. Otherwise you can set a certain number of seconds. After they've been on your website, it shows this little chat bubble. When they click on that, it pops up the full chat box that we were playing around with, and people can chat with you on here. So we'll say, have Jake call me, and it gives us this form. Let's say Jeremy Smith, jsmith@mail.net, phone number. Okay, so we'll submit that. And sorry, that's my Chrome extension that keeps trying to hijack the data, so you will not see that. Okay, so it says, thank you, Jake will connect with you soon. And then if we come back here, and we've got our activity, our leads, perfect. Jeremy is in there, and you've got his number here, and his email. You could just reach out to him right then, which is great. Anyways, we're 16 minutes in, so hopefully that wasn't too complicated. Chatbase.co, chatbase.co is where you'll go to set this up. And then this is kind of a sneak peek at the CRM we're building out. So this is still in the works. Hopefully this will be available within the next month or so, and we can walk through actually building sites and landing pages on here. Otherwise, use your existing website and put this chatbot together. It's free and might get you a couple more leads every month. And then one last thing, because I always forget to plug the Skool Community. The Skool Community is free. Link is right below this video, so jump in there. And I've got this all formatted, so you can just change the pieces in bold and copy and paste this right into your chatbot, so you can get it up and running in 5 minutes.